The following is a presentation of the Match Talk Podcast Network. It's time for the ODU Wrestling Monarch Mattcast, a show dedicated to all things related to the Old Dominion Wrestling program. On the web at monarchmattcast.com. Now, here's your host, three-time National Wrestling Writer and Broadcaster of the Year, and 2004 ODU alumnus, Jason Bryant.
And welcome back, wrestling fans, Monarch Nation, and all you ODU wrestling fans around the country, around the world. Another episode of the ODU Wrestling Monarch Mattcast. This is episode 50. I'm your host, Jason Bryant, proud alum of the Old Dominion University. Our guest today is McGee, MAC Freshman of the Year, NCAA qualifier at 125 pounds, and recent selection to the NWCA All-Academic Team. Mikhail, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's get the elephant in the room out of the way. Mikhail, why have you ever asked your parents, why didn't you just call me Michael or spell Mikhail differently?
My mom told me that she got it from the Bible. It was like more biblical, and she kind of took the exact same spelling from the Bible. So on my birth certificate, it's spelled MIC-HA''EL. So, yeah, that's where that came from.
That makes standardized test scores a lot more fun to fill out, aren't they?
Yeah, no, I just write Michael for things like that.
You even said Michael. This has created a confusion amongst yourself, sir.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
All right. Anyway, enough about the name, but those know the name around the country. You had a really good freshman season, true freshman season, and let's just first talk about growing up. You're from Illinois, wrestled at Plainfield East, had a pretty good career on the mats there. And first of all, when did you get your start in wrestling, and what made you like it?
I started wrestling. I was about like 7 or 8, and I was just a really active kid, so it was just kind of something to do. I wasn't just a wrestler when I was younger. I played football and basketball a little bit, but I kind of just stuck with wrestling. I liked it more than both of those other sports. And once I started liking it, it kind of was just like interesting to me. I kind of just like to learn and just wrestle new people, get a new feel, and just wrestle. I just fell in love with it when I was younger. So that's how I ended up where I am now.
So how quickly did Old Dominion show up on your radar coming out of high school?
They were one of the first schools that really recruited me like that heavily. Like other schools recruited me, but nobody really showed interest as much as ODU, which is why it was kind of easier for me to just come here. So.
You know, your name kind of got thrust out there. You get that big win, one of the All-Star matches, and people are like, holy crap, who is this McGee kid? And people knew who you were, and, you know, you were on the fringe of the national rankings and, you know, in and out based on who you look at. But how much did that, like, those postseason wins really help vault your name in there and be like, aha, I'm already going to ODU, sorry?
You mean postseason wins this year?
No, as coming out of high school.
Coming out of high school? Honestly, coming out of high school, I kind of was confident that I was like one of the best kids in my weight class. So I wasn't really shocked within myself of like the kids I was beating, but definitely told me like where I was physically as far as like and technically of like where I needed to get better and stuff like that before I came to college.
One of the things that might have been a concern coming in is that you were a little guy, and when we say little guy, you're wrestling at the smallest weight class in college at 125 pounds, but you're notably smaller now. What did you do in the off season to try to bulk up, I guess, to 125? And you know, what's your typical walk around weight right now?
Before season, I was I want to say like low 30s, but I wasn't doing anything other than really the lifting schedule that they provide for us, and I was getting stronger. I found myself getting stronger last year, preseason, and I'm on the same little lifting regimen as well now. And right now I probably weigh around like 138. I try to stay away from scales outside of season.
like many wrestlers. And was the adjustment tough going from college to high school, having to maybe a different type of weigh-in procedure and things of that nature?
It was definitely a big jump that I had to make. After my senior year season, I kind of realized that I needed to make that jump. So like all summer, I kind of just spent really focusing on my weaknesses and stuff like that, and just kind of trying to learn every position and stuff. And the weigh-ins, they're terrible. I'm used to weighing in at 4:00 and wrestling at 6:30, but these 1 hour weigh-ins, they really pull it out of you. At least.
So it's safe to say you like the tournament weigh-in versus the dual meet weigh-in.
Oh, no question about it. We got a whole nother hour in tournament.
So when you're coming off the scale, say it's a dual meet, you got 1 hour. You're coming off the scale. What's the first thing you're putting back? Are you going? Is it Gatorade? Is it water? Is it Pedialyte? What's your first rehydration method of choice?
It's got to be water. I learned the hard way. Gatorade and all that other stuff is not the way to go, or you'll probably find yourself bent over a trash can before or after your match. Got to put that water back in and then eat a little bit, and then Gatorade and all that other stuff after. Yeah,
so chugging a 32-ounce Gatorade off the scale, not recommended in your mind?
Absolutely not. Not a good decision.
Even if it's like your favorite flavor of Gatorade or Powerade, if you prefer, just
It's your favorite flavor. I'm talking from experience.
What is your favorite flavor? Say in a normal day, I want to go get a Gatorade from 7-Eleven across the street in campus. What's your flavor of choice?
I'm gonna go with lemon lime.
Oh, the throwback, the traditional one. See, I'm with you there, because there were many times they had the Gatorades across from, let's see, the 7-Eleven that's now across from a Taco Bell that wasn't there when I was in college. The Taco Bell wasn't, but the 7-Eleven was. I think we must have, every time like Gatorades were like $2 for $4, I think we just rated the entire thing. And I only think one person in the house was actively wrestling at the time. So we were Gatorade connoisseurs at the time. Now, when we go back to wrestling in high school, how soon did you know you wanted to wrestle in college?
After my sophomore year, I won state, and it was kind of more so a thing people would ask me. They would ask me, where's my dream school, like where I wanted to go to college, stuff like that, where I could see myself wrestling at the next level. So it was kind of like, it wasn't never really like a decision, like if I wanted to do it or not. It was kind of like, I felt like it was kind of expected of me, and I kind of expected myself to just go somewhere, and just wrestle in college as well. It was just always like once I just started liking the sport, I kind of knew I was going to wrestle in college. So it was more of a matter of just picking where.
One thing that the state of Illinois has going forward, it has tremendous wrestling across all the three styles: freestyle, Greco, and the high school collegiate folk style. What do you think makes Illinois high school wrestling so good?
That's a good question. I don't know, but as far as all the guys kind of like in my era, I've trained with a lot of them, and we all kind of just want to get better and don't really care. Like in a practice room, a lot of us, we travel all around the state of Illinois just to wrestle with each other, because we know that we kind of got a lot of really good wrestlers. So, I mean, I don't know. I think it's just a desire to want to get better that a lot of us carry.
In coming to Old Dominion, you look at the roster, a lot of Illinois kids have been populating over the last couple of years. Coach Dixon makes that trip out there every year. And there's, Larry Early, you got among others that have come from Illinois. Jack Decco had success and was an All-American for Old Dominion. I mean, Keenan Carter's from Illinois. What did it mean to you to have some people from back home on the team at Old Dominion before you enrolled?
When I took my visit, I knew there was already a lot of Illinois guys here. So when I came down here, took my visit, and was hanging out with them, it kind of just felt like I felt at home for sure, just because I already knew a bunch of the guys not known of them, but like known them since I was younger. So there's not many other like D1 teams in the country with as many Illinois guys that I know on the roster personally. So,
outside of maybe, I don't know, the school at Illinois. But as we look at the room when coming in and the decision to wrestle as a true freshman, what was that discussion like with the coaches? Was that something that was told to you right away when you're during the recruiting process? Is, hey, we're looking for you to step in right away and go?
I wanted to redshirt like wherever I want. Like senior year, I told myself before I just wanted to redshirt just to get the hang of things and stuff like that, and kind of make that adjustment. But before the season started, my coaches kind of just came to me and just told me that they thought they thought I'd have a lot of success at 125, and that's kind of just how that started. I just bought into everything that they were talking about. So, yeah.
Were you surprised at the level of success you had so quickly?
No, not really. Due to the fact that I kind of I like wrestling guys bigger than me, better than me, stronger than me, and that was mainly my thing this off season. I didn't think I thought regardless of if I started this year or the year after, I'd be successful. I just wasn't expecting to wrestle this year, but definitely thankful for the success I was able to have, and glad that I was able to show like what I could do this year. So, yeah.
When you look at the room around you, I mean, you, Cardinale and McGee, there are some. You guys got some hammers down there at 25 and 33. How do those guys make you better each day in the wrestling room?
Those guys are my friends, but in the restroom, it's kind of like it's not really very friendly. We kind of just want to beat the crap. So I mean that's one thing. Like in high school, nobody really just came at my head every practice, to make me better. But that's the difference. Everybody in here is kind of like I don't care what you did in high school. I just want to come here and beat you up, whatever. So that's a big thing. Due to the fact that they're hammers as well, and they're not slacking off during practices. So I mean, they definitely push me every day.
What's been the biggest adjustment you've had to make to college wrestling with your style to make sure that you're competitive, not just with the guys that you're supposed to beat, but the guys that you're not supposed to beat?
I kind of felt like the one thing that I had to adjust over summer, I had to make a mental adjustment as well as physical. I wasn't sure what would really work on the top level guys of this weight class, so it was kind of like I was second guessing myself, and so I'd say the biggest adjustment was kind of just getting in a lot of repetitions and just having more confidence in my moves and stuff like that. I've always been able to do the moves. It was just a matter of me believing if I could hit someone else.
What about situations where I know that you were winning against Louis Hayes, who was a national ranked guy from the University of Virginia. He came out and came from behind and got that match. And I was talking to Coach Dixon afterwards, and he was talking about learning how to defend athletes hanging on your head. What did you do through the season to try to basically make sure that you're creating space, you're getting these guys off your head, you're clearing the collar ties to basically open up your offense?
Basically, I kind of would just. Coach Darryl was always on me about not letting people hang on my head or just let people tie me up and stuff like that. So, I mean, I kind of did some stance and motion things with him a few days after practice and stuff like that. And on my own time, I'll kind of just do like footwork drills, stance and motion drills, just continuing to move my feet, even if somebody's on my head or on my hands trying to slow me down and stuff like that, just creating space and just staying where I'm comfortable.
You won the MAC. You were the MAC Freshman of the Year. You avenged a loss throughout the course of the season to do that, even though you came in as a 1 seed. Talk about the pressure of a conference championship, wrestling a guy that had beaten you so close early in the year, and Brock Hudkins from Northern Illinois.
I don't really put pressure on myself. I wouldn't say like pressure. And other people said, I guess it looks like an intense situation, like a guy that you're going against, but I didn't really care. I was confident that I could beat him, as well as anybody else really in my bracket. It was so I would say mentally though it was a task just due to the fact that kind of difficult to bounce back after a loss, but I was training hard and I was ready for the MAC tournament, and yeah, I knew I was prepared for that tournament, so I wasn't really freaking out about winning or losing in the finals. I was just focused on wrestling.
Now, something interesting also happened at the MAC tournament, whereas the teams are set to go the next day. And of course, we if you've paid attention to the news out there, those of you listening, there was the active shooter situation that happened on campus at Central Michigan the day before the MAC tournament. So this guy's at large. You guys aren't even, were you guys even allowed on campus? I mean, what was the situation like for you guys in trying to work out, make weight, and get to where was the facility going to be? I mean, this got to be strange. I'd never heard of a situation like this. What was it like for you guys, the coaching staff and the team?
Yeah, no, I woke up and my coaches basically told us that there was like a shooter and we couldn't go on campus. So we just kind of had to improvise. I worked out at the hotel until later that night. We went to another school and I got some more weight out. The only bad part about it was just that we couldn't practice on their campus until they had found the shooter. But once they found him, then everything was looking good.
Yeah, that's just, I mean, there's obviously people's lives were lost. Then you're like, well, the wrestling tournament to the rest of the world seems not very important, but had to be definitely a unique situation. It's not something we want anybody to go through. But moving forward to the NCAA Championships, you get Sean Faust from NC State in the first round. He is a guy that's notoriously tough on top. He's lanky. He's huge. But first of all, people say he's huge for the weight. How big was he on the mat when you stepped across and shook his hand?
I think he probably was the biggest 125 pounder I wrestled all year. I don't know how noticeable the size difference was.
Trust me, from the head table, it was completely noticeable.
Well, yeah, he had some height on him. Not really fan of wrestling talk. I mean, it was kind of out. So yeah.
Now, as we go through that process, you lost that one in the tiebreakers, and it's interesting for a true freshman to come in like yourself, who's actually very proficient on top. You score a lot of points off the tilts, but you also ride very well. What is something that's where did that come from? First of all, where did you learn the ability to wrestle like a top wrestler in college as a true freshman?
So I want to say summer of my junior year and senior year, I would just drive all around Illinois and I would just find a lot of the best guys and I would just have them show me stuff on top. I don't know if you know the Josh and Jameson Oster brothers from my court, but they were some pretty good hammers on top. So I would kind of go to their practice room and we would just go live on top and bottom. And if I would get turned, then I would make him show me what he turned me in. And if I couldn't get out, then I would just make him show me what he was holding me down in. So it was kind of just more so me learning from the people around me. Like I said, in Illinois, there's a lot of good wrestlers. I have a bunch of good resources and stuff and people to learn from. And Coach Makati as well. Makati's been on top, and I made him show me some stuff, him and Lenny. And I don't know, I'm interested. I know that it's a big part of wrestling, and if I can't hold anybody down on top, then I mean that changes the tempo of every match that I ever wrestled in my college career. So I felt like it was a big thing that I needed to do. So I kind of just started learning to upon myself to just learn and just try to keep riding people.
How much does that riding time point change your strategy from how you wrestled in high school to how you wrestle in college?
It's a big difference because there's no riding time in high school. So if you gotta go get one, if you gotta cancel riding time, it definitely changes the tempo of a match. For me, since I enjoy top position and I usually am able to ride my opponent, it's definitely good for me because that's just an extra point at the end of the match. And on top of that, it wears people out when you ride them, so that's pretty nice.
When you look at the goals you have moving forward, coaching staff says you went right back to work, working to try to win a national title next year. And of course, that weight class was won by another true freshman, a guy named Spencer Lee. And when you put things into perspective, is he your target, winning a national championship? How do you go about planning to, one, get on the podium, and two, try to win a national championship with such a tremendous weight class nationally?
I don't have a target on his back. I feel like I train too hard every day to kind of just put myself in the backseat against anybody. I know he's a great opponent, but I feel like my main focus for me is just me getting better every single day, kind of just making little adjustments and mental adjustments and stuff like that. And if I just keep learning, keep working, keep grinding every single day, then it doesn't really matter what he's doing. It doesn't really matter. But I just need to stay focused on my own grind and all that other stuff. And next year, I'll probably see him again.
As we look at the upcoming Monarch offseason, of course, we've got the 2018 Takedown Golf Tournament coming May 4th. That is at Sewell's Point Golf Course at the Norfolk Naval Station. 10:30 is registration. If you're interested in whole sponsorships, foursomes, or banquet tickets, contact Coach Mike Dixon at mjdixon@odu.edu. And I understand, what's this thing? You trying to teach Larry Early how to hit off a tee? Come on, explain yourself.
He was trying to hit the ball. It looked like he was struggling, so I had to go over there and pick my teammate up and let him know how to hit a golf ball.
Yeah, because Larry doesn't strike me as a scratch golfer by any means.
No, actually, he's the golfer. Like he's better at golf than me. I wasn't trying to embarrass myself out there with taking that ball, so I kind of just let him take that role.
When you look at the campus around you, obviously you weren't around when, people like myself went through campus, at this point, 20 years ago, making me feel old. There's been changes, and you guys are walking into the situation where there's new facilities, great support. It is a really, really cool campus to walk around and be a part of. What is it about Old Dominion now that you've been there for almost a year that makes it special from a student-athlete perspective?
Since I've been here, made a lot of good relationships and stuff like that. Met a lot of people and stuff like that. And at this point, it kind of just feels like a home away from home. So I want to say after my friends that contributed to that, and as far as my teammates and coaches and stuff like that. So that's really, I love that part about campus.
What is the funniest thing you've seen Coach Steve Martin do in your first year there?
Wow. Honestly, Steve's not like a jokester. Like, I'm normally the jokester. Like, I like to joke with Steve, and Steve is normally like the one that's like, yeah, you got issues.
Oh man, what about Dixon? I mean, you weren't around in his mustache era. We got to get him to grow that thing back. That was he had a quality mustache. I don't know if you guys have known the legend of Dixon's mustache.
And I saw a picture the other day. I was going to bring it up to him eventually.
I understand the Ninja Turtle graphic still floating around the office. Is that because I created that? I'm just wondering, making sure it's still there. That's my legacy in that wrestling.
Yeah, no, it's still there, 100%.
All right, good deal. Making sure. So, Mikhail McGee, in the time we've got left here on the program, just anything out there that you want to tell Monarch Nation about the wrestling program, things coming up, why Old Dominion was the right place for you and things of that nature. Just kind of an open forum for you to wrap up your freshman year and be like, hey guys, this is me.
Wow, that's I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't prepared for that question. I don't have anything.
Consider this media training. So now you're supposed to expect everything when you're doing interviews, especially from people that know a little bit about ODU. But no, let's just let that be the lesson. Be prepared for every question, Mr. McGee.
All right.
Anyway, a fake serious moment over. I do want to talk about the academic selection here for a minute. You were all academic, and what are you majoring in? What are you looking to do as far as a career? Because like we know, there is not a super professional wrestling league. You've got the shot at the the senior level in the Olympics, but what do you plan on or aspire to do once you've received your degree?
Actually, I feel like I don't want to narrow it down to just like one thing just yet. Like, I don't want to be so cliche, like, oh, I'm going to go here, get a degree, and then go get a job in here. Like, as of now, I'm still kind of, technically I'm still undecided. I came here originally, and I wanted to major in psychology. And then I took psychology, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if this is me. So I changed it to undecided. So, but as of now, I'm kind of leaning more so toward sports management. I'll see how really intrigued in that. Like, I really am. But, yeah, I don't really have, like, a game plan. I think there's a lot of different things I'll be able to do. It's just more so me, like, deciding when the time comes.
Yeah, I mean, I was a freshman for 2.5 years, so don't be in that much of a hurry. That's another story entirely. And matter of fact, we won't even go down that road. So, Mikhail McGee, MAC Freshman of the Year, NCAA qualifier. Fine season, young man, and we look forward to hearing more from you here on the ODU Wrestling Monarch Mattcast. And congrats on this year, and best of luck next season.
All right, thank you so much for having me. Have a good one.
Show is part of the Matt Talk Podcast Network. For more wrestling podcasts, head over to MattTalkOnline.com.